And finally one day I got upset. I said, well, when are you going to teach me about money? He says, what do you think we're doing? We're playing Monopoly. He goes, no. What do you think we're doing? We're playing Monopoly. He says, what do you think we're doing? So I don't know. I'm teaching you about money.
Just like Robert Kiyosaki's Rich Dad says, 4 green houses equal 1 red hotel. In Monopoly, the objective is to acquire properties, develop them with houses and hotels, and generate income from rent. The more properties and improvements you have, the higher your potential earnings. Similarly, in real life, investing in real estate offers an opportunity to grow your wealth exponentially. Financial intelligence is the key to building wealth. It's not just about how much money you make, but how effectively you generate and manage cash flow. Real estate can be a powerful asset for creating consistent cash flow. And today, we'll show you how to make it happen even if you have limited or even better, zero money. To begin, John hates Monopoly because he never wins. He doesn't understand how real estate works, and he's afraid of debt. But today, that's about to change. Stick with us throughout the video as we reveal the tips and tricks from Robert Kiyosaki and how you can buy real estate with literally no money. And maybe you could be the winner of your own Monopoly game. I mean life.
So very simply said, assets, put money in my pocket, liabilities, take money from my pocket. And then this here is, so I'm not saying don't buy a house, but here is a house that I got. And I started when I was 25, bought my first house, and it was an apartment, it was an investment property. I didn't live in it, I rented it out, and it put money in my pocket.
Before we get into how you can buy real estate with literally zero money, let's differentiate between assets and liabilities. If we need to summarize the topic, assets are investments that put money in your pocket, while liabilities take money out of your pocket. Your personal residence may be a liability due to ongoing expenses, but rental properties can be assets that generate income. To explain the situation even better, let's take a look at an example. Imagine you have a personal residence that costs you $2,000 per month in mortgage payments, property taxes, insurance, and maintenance. This property is where you live, and while it provides you with shelter, it doesn't generate any income. Now, let's consider a rental property. Suppose you invest in a rental property that you can acquire with a mortgage, and the total monthly expenses, including the mortgage payment, property taxes, insurance, maintenance, and property management fees, amount to $1,500. As a landlord, you decide to rent out the property for $2,500 per month. After deducting the $1,500 in expenses, you're left with a positive cash flow of $1,000 per month. In this scenario, your personal residence is a liability as it costs you $2,000 per month, which is money flowing out of your pocket. On the other hand, the rental property is an asset, generating income of $1,000 per month, which is money flowing into your pocket. Now that we understand assets and liabilities, it's time to learn deeply about debt before I can show you how to buy real estate with zero money. When thinking about debt as a concept, lots of negative and depressing thoughts come into mind. But should they? Robert Kiyosaki introduced the concept of good debt and bad debt. Good debt is when you borrow money to acquire assets that generate cash flow. And bad debt is the money you borrow to buy a new iPhone. Imagine this, you come across a beautiful duplex property in a prime location. The purchase price is $200,000, but you don't have all the funds available. Instead of dismissing the opportunity, you decide to tap into the concept of good debt as introduced by the renowned financial expert Robert Kiyosaki. You approach a lender and secure a mortgage for 80% of the property's value, which amounts to $160,000. This is the borrowed money that will enable you to acquire the property and potentially generate cash flow. With the duplex now in your possession, you rent out both units, each for $1,500 per month. After accounting for expenses such as mortgage payments, property taxes, insurance, and maintenance costs, let's say your total monthly expenses come to $2,500. Here's where the magic of good debt comes into play. The combined rental income from both units adds up to $3,000 per month. After deducting the $2,500 in expenses, you're left with a positive cash flow of $500 per month. Now, let's break it down. You're essentially using the borrowed money to acquire an asset, the duplex property, that is generating cash flow. The rental income you receive covers the property's expenses and even leaves you with a positive cash flow. It's a win-win situation.
Good debt puts
Money in your pocket.
Could a credit card be good debt?
Well, it just depends what you spend the money on, right? So if you spent it on something that's going to produce income for you, like an asset, then it's good debt. But if you spend it on, let's say, a jacket that you wanted from Burberry, then it's not.
First property there, it was in Maui, Hawaii in the 1970s. I bought it with a credit card.
Wow.
Property was $18,000, my first, but I've taken several real estate classes. And so I knew what to look for. I found this one property. It took a long time. When I found it, I just broke out my credit card and bought it, and it put $25 in my pocket. It went from this little dinky little thing, this is years ago, $25. It was good debt. I wish I never sold it. It was a big mistake to sell it, because today it's probably worth $400,000 or $500,000. And that's a whole nother story.
So far, we've learned about assets, liabilities, good debt, and bad debt. But in order to understand and to continue our journey on how to buy real estate with zero money, there's another concept that we need to make ourselves familiar with. Maybe the most important one, and it's called net operating income and capitalization rate. Net operating income, or NOI, and capitalization rate, or cap rate, play vital roles in real estate. NOI is the income generated from a property minus expenses, which banks evaluate to determine loan amounts. The cap rate helps determine a property's value based on its NOI. Net operating income and capitalization rate are fundamental concepts in the realm of real estate investment. Let's take a closer look at each of these factors and their significance. Net operating income represents the income generated from a property after deducting all operating expenses. It's a key indicator of the property's profitability and cash flow potential. To calculate the NOI, you subtract expenses such as property taxes, insurance, maintenance costs, management fees, and vacancies from the property's total income. It's particularly important when it comes to obtaining financing for real estate investments. Banks and financial institutions evaluate the NOI to determine the loan amounts they're willing to provide. A higher NOI indicates a greater capacity to generate income and repay the loan, increasing the likelihood of securing financing for your real estate ventures. Capitalization rate is another crucial metric used in real estate valuation. It's a percentage that represents the relationship between the property's net operating income and its overall value. The cap rate helps investors assess the return on investment, or ROI, and determine the property's worth. To calculate the cap rate, you divide the property's NOI by its current market value. The resulting percentage indicates the rate of return an investor can expect to earn on their investment based on the property's income-generating potential. For example, if a property has an NOI of $50,000 and is valued at $1 million, the cap rate would be 5%. $50,000 divided by $1 million. This means that an investor can anticipate a 5% return on their investment annually. The cap rate serves as a benchmark for comparing different investment opportunities and assessing their relative value. A higher cap rate suggests a potentially higher return on investment, while a lower cap rate may indicate a more stable and desirable property, but with a lower return. By understanding and analyzing the net operating income, or NOI, and capitalization rate, or cap rate of a property, investors can make informed decisions about their real estate investments. These metrics provide valuable insights into a property's financial performance and help determine its attractiveness as an investment opportunity. Now, here's the concept that you've all been waiting for. After Mr. Kiyosaki's explanation, we will reveal the 6 steps on how to buy a house with zero money. It may sound like a cheesy scheme, but here it is, making infinite money without using any money.
Okay, so what we're going to talk about today is an infinite return. And very simply, is if you have a real financial education, you'll never need money and you'll never pay taxes. But they don't teach that in school. And by the way, I've been working with the real estate guys for 20 years now, and Tom and I will be on their summit at sea. And this year the theme is the infinite return. So if you can, there's only a few spaces left on the cruise, but many of my advisors will be with me with Tom and I on this cruise. And the whole theme is how you make money with nothing. Because you don't need money to make money. It's one of the biggest lies. And when people say that money doesn't make you happy, well, working at a job you hate doesn't make you happy. And paying a lot of tax doesn't make me happy.
So to be able to do that, we need to understand leveraging debt. As complex as it sounds, it's actually pretty simple. Leveraging debt in real estate refers to using borrowed funds, such as a mortgage or a loan, to acquire a property. The idea behind leveraging debt is to use other people's money, or OPM, to finance the purchase rather than solely relying on your own funds. By doing so, you can amplify your potential returns and accelerate your wealth-building process. Here are the 6 steps on how leveraging debt can lead to infinite returns. 1. Borrowing money. When you secure a mortgage or loan to purchase a property, you're leveraging debt. This means you're using a portion of your own funds, along with, even better, a bank's funds to finance the property. Make an appointment with your bank advisor and ask him or her how you can increase your credit rating. 2. Improving the property. After acquiring the property, you have the opportunity to increase its value through improvements and renovations. This might include upgrading the kitchen, adding extra rooms, or enhancing the overall aesthetics and functionality. 3. Increasing net operating income, or NOI. As you improve the property, you can potentially increase its rental income or occupancy rates. By doing so, you're boosting the property's net operating income. NOI is calculated by subtracting operating expenses such as maintenance costs, property taxes, and management fees from the property's income. 4. Refinancing. Once you've completed the property improvements and increased the NOI, you can approach the lender to refinance the property. Refinancing involves obtaining a new loan that pays off the original mortgage, and it allows you to tap into the property's increased equity. To understand this even better, imagine a real estate investor who purchased a rental property a few years ago. Over time, he made significant improvements to the property, increasing its net operating income and boosting its overall value. Now he decides to take advantage of the increased equity through refinancing. He approaches his lender and presents the property's improved financial performance and the subsequent rise in its value. After a thorough evaluation, the lender agrees to refinance the property. They offer him a new loan that pays off the original mortgage while providing him with access to the property's increased equity. 5. Recouping initial investment. The refinanced loan amount can be equal to or higher than the property's initial purchase price, depending on the new appraised value. If the refinanced loan covers or exceeds your initial investment, including the down payment and renovation costs, you essentially get your initial investment back. 6. Ongoing ownership and cash flow. After refinancing, you still retain ownership of the property and continue to generate rental income. At this point, the rental income surpasses the mortgage payments, operating expenses, and debt service, resulting in positive cash flow. By employing this strategy, you've effectively recouped your initial investment while still owning the property. The cash flow generated from rental income can now be considered infinite returns because you're no longer using your own money to generate profits. Real estate investing also offers significant tax benefits. Debt repayment is considered tax-free, and you can deduct expenses and depreciation, reducing taxable income. It's a win-win situation for investors. It's important to note that leveraging debt carries risks, and it requires careful analysis, market research, and financial planning. Now, let's debunk the myth that real estate is a slow lane approach to wealth. While it's not a get-rich-quick scheme, real estate provides stability and consistent cash flow. It offers long-term wealth-building potential that can transform your financial future. You should always consider real estate as a viable investment option, but not the only one. Check out our video where we cover the 4 assets that Robert Kiyosaki thinks are safer than cash.